So, ladder-like careers, I think the assumption, and by all means challenge me everyone, but I think the kind of idea of ladder-like careers is that ambition is supposed to be very kind of similar for everybody, because success when you're climbing a ladder is about becoming more senior. I mean, ultimately getting to the top, but even if you don't want to get to the top, the idea that ambition really is about becoming more senior. And when we are in this environment of squiggly careers, where things are a lot more kind of fluid, there's a lot more change, things are less predictable, not always so kind of controllable. I think the context for ambition is slightly different, because one of the really big benefits of squiggly careers is that success is as individual as you are. Like it's not no longer is it just about becoming more senior. Actually, when you start to kind of spread the squiggly word, what happens is people get kind of liberated by losing the ladder, and they are able to develop in different directions. And I think what that means is ambition becomes much more individual. And it, you know, people don't have to say, oh, I want to become more senior. People can say, oh, I want to do something completely different. I want to be a DJ. Someone in our team might say, or it might be, oh, I'd like to start my own business, or actually I'd quite like to go back to something I did before. I've done this thing for a while, but I realized I've actually enjoyed that thing more. And I think that because squiggly careers create more individuality, I think we might need a few more tools to think about ambition, because we can't just default to this one size fits all solution. We actually might need to think about, what does this actually mean to me? But I think if you do think about what this actually means to me, you then have, you have a guide for your growth in your career. Now, it's really, really powerful. I think if you can really think about, what does ambition mean to me in my squiggly career, I think that becomes a really kind of powerful activator for your development. So that's my perspective. Any thoughts or builds on it? And do you think, if you think about when your career starts, depends how long you kind of consider you've had a career, but would you consider that the people that might have had a longer career, I'm saying like plus 10 years, I would say my career has probably been about 20-ish years since I was on like Boots grad scheme back in the day. Do you think your context and understanding of ambition has changed over that time? Question to you, everybody. Since your career started to where you are now, how has your own perspective on ambition changed? Let me know in chat. I'm intrigued by your thoughts. How have your thoughts on ambition changed over time in your career? Did you start a bit ladder-like, success is seniority, and has ambition now become more individual for you? Or actually is what was important to you when you started out in your career very similar to where you are right now? So what we've got here, Alistair, less limited, more flexible. Don't see a title. Yeah, I mean, I used to really hang my hat on titles, definitely. And then I realized that most of my job titles didn't make sense anymore. I spend most of the time explaining them anyway. Director of Audience Evangelism being one. Head of Seattle being another. Genuine job titles that I've had. Does it align with my values? Yes, I'm worried about my lack of ambition now. Well, Amanda, you're in the perfect place. You are absolutely the perfect place, because that's sometimes I kind of go, God, what am I ambitious about? Like, I think it's okay to ask that. I think it's good to have an answer, but I also think it's okay to recognize that sometimes you just kind of need to stop, think, and answer it. So that's fine. That's what today is for. Mara has definitely changed. Less about status, more about impact. Eliza, looking at a larger picture of life. Yeah, I also ponder on everybody. Is this an age thing? Like, is this an age and experience thing? Do you have to go through attaching yourself to something obvious and easy, like a ladder at the beginning, in order to get to enlightenment at some point in your career? Is it like just experience and kind of age? Or has something changed? I actually don't know the answer to that. What I do think is, wouldn't it be amazing if people entered the workforce and they didn't just attach themselves to a job title and status from day one? Like, actually, if we could enter the workforce with the kind of insights that we've now got, that's the dream. Lloyd, about kind of slowing down, focusing on personal life, hobbies more, change of focus. Brilliant. Okay, so I think lots of us are saying change. It has changed. Age is wisdom. Yeah, interesting, isn't it? Okay, so I think this is different to the podcast, because I've sort of been reflecting on this afterwards. It's one of those things that some podcast episodes, I sort of just, I don't know, your brain keeps going with it after you've had the conversation. My brain has come up with a matrix, everybody. Woohoo! It's because Sarah's not here. She's on holiday. She can't stop me having a matrix. I don't know whether it's a good matrix. You can give me some feedback. But I was thinking a little bit about ambition. And I think there are two elements that are important to consider when we're thinking like, have I got an effective ambition? I think the two elements, and I'll kind of say the two elements and then we'll draw the matrix and you can give me some feedback. I think there is one thing around clarity. So how clear are you about your ambition? So kind of to the point earlier, like Amanda was saying, well, I don't know, I don't feel like it's very clear. Like, are you really clear? Can you clearly articulate what your kind of ambition is? I think that is one element that's really important of kind of effective ambition. And then I think the other one, which is maybe interesting, is how comfortable are you sort of talking about it with other people, even like talking about the concept of it. I know quite a lot of people who sort of struggle with their ambition because they think, oh, they worry what other people will think about them. Like, oh, is this too ambitious? Are you going to think this is a strange ambition because it isn't what I want to do? Like, actually, even the concept of ambition, it kind of feels a bit difficult. So I think this kind of clarity, like how clear are you in your articulation of your ambition, and also comfort, like how comfortable are you with the concept of ambition and communicating your ambition? I think these are two really important elements in being able to kind of use your ambition effectively as a guide for your career. And when I then sort of pondered a bit further, yeah, this is where I got to on my matrix, everybody. So the elements, I got kind of comfortable. So are you kind of high or low comfort? And let me just build this out. So I've got high or low comfort. So high comfort is I'm totally okay with the idea of ambition, all good with me. And I'm very happy talking about my ambition with other people. So like high level of comfort. And then clarity, high clarity is I can say in a statement what ambition means to me. And I could say the same statement tomorrow as I did today because I've got complete clarity on it. Low clarity, absolutely no idea what my ambition is. I couldn't, and from one day to the next, it kind of differs and I've not really thought about it. So that's kind of where I am on the scale. These are where I got with the matrix, everybody. So let me know, let me see if it's helpful. It kind of made me think. I think if we're down here, so this is where you have got you've got kind of low clarity, don't kind of really know what my ambition is, and then you've got kind of low comfort. I think down here our ambition's kind of dormant here. Like it's nothing really is happening. we don't know what our ambition is, and we kind of feel comfortable with it. It's kind of dormant. It's not really doing anything. I think if you are here, so you've got, let's do this one here. I think if you've got high clarity, so you know what your ambition is, like you know what you want to achieve, you know what direction you want to go towards, but you've got kind of a low comfort level with talking about that with other people, maybe with the idea, you feel a bit too ambitious, that kind of thing. I think down here, this is where we've got a very constrained ambition. Probably constrained by your confidence, I would say. That's a confidence gremlin that's kind of caging your ambition here. This one up here, I thought this one might be kind of like blind ambition. So this is where you've got high comfort level. You're all good with the idea of ambition. You're like, yeah, ambition's great. We should all have ambitions. But actually for you, you're like, oh, but I don't actually know what mine is. I mean, Amanda, not to prick but this may be where you are. Like, you're like, actually, I kind of feel okay with the idea of ambition. I think ambition is a good thing. I think we should talk about it, but I don't know what mine is. And I think down here, that's probably where we're just a little bit blind. We're a bit sort of blind as to what our ambition is. I think what we are aiming for is this one over here, which is where we are both comfortable. We're comfortable with the concept of ambition. We recognize it's important for everyone to have it. We're comfortable talking about ambition. We don't worry about what people will think. And we're very kind of clear about what our ambition is. So question number one, I always think this is an indication of whether a framework is helpful. My question number one is, can you, and I'll make it anonymous, give me 1 second to find the lovely Zoom functionality. Can you put a star on my screen with where you think you are at the moment? So in terms of the effectiveness of your ambition, do you think is active, like you're talking about it, you've got clear, think a bit blind, like you think ambition is a good thing, but you don't know what yours is. You know what your ambition is, but you've not got confidence to talk about it, or actually you bottom left, you're like, it's a bit dormant, like Helen, I don't know what it is. I kind of feel a bit weird talking about it. It's a bit strange. Sarah has put the instructions for stars on screens in the chat, because if you are new here, you might not have done this before, but it is normally towards the top of your Zoom screen, view options, click on that, and then it's annotate, probably get a little toolbar come up, I think the tick is that where the stamps are. You click on that, and then you can put a star on. And Sarah says you can draw. You can go crazy if you want, everybody. I don't mind. Interesting. The reason I say interesting is I think a framework is useful when it kind of teases something out. But we've got a spread. We've got a bit of a spread, I would say here. An equal spread across the team. I can't really. Maybe blind is the biggest one. So where we kind of are comfortable with the idea, but we don't know what ours is, which is useful because that's what this podcast is all about, is kind of helping you get clarity on what your ambition might be. What do you think? Do we think this is a useful matrix, or it should be put to bed? Is this a matrix that I should share on LinkedIn so other people can think about it, or useful? Okay. All right. By the way, you can totally say it's not. You could be like, no, Helen, in no way is this helpful. It's totally fine. But I was just thinking about it a little bit last night. Okay. All right. Well, maybe I'll put it on LinkedIn. I like the idea of being liberated. Yeah, I just think it's sort of like, why am I struggling? What is it? Is it that I don't know about it, or is it I'm not comfortable with it? I definitely have seen a lot of people who kind of just worry about what people will think about them if they share their ambition. Like this kind of, like the fear of judgment, which I think is where you get ambition and confidence gremlins coming together in a really unhelpful way. Okay, hold the stars and the pens, everybody. Hold the stars and the pens. I am just going to get into some actions. Let's get into some sort of ideas for action now. Bit of a question to you, I think, just to reflect on after today. I don't think we have to do this one now, but I would just take away, before I'm going to give you some specific ideas for action to do that we talked about in the podcast, but I would just think about almost just set a timer for like not a super long time, like 2 or 3 minutes, and just try to write down as many words. Mind maps tend to be quite helpful because they stop you perfecting like sentences and statements. But what does ambition mean to you in your Squiggly career? And I would just put as many words as you can down. Like if I was doing this, I'd be like, it means impact, it means helping people, it means growing, it means scale. Like just get your words down, because there'll be ingredients in your answers. There'll be ingredients that can help you get to like a statement for your ambition. So as a starting point, I would just have a go at answering this question, but speed. Like don't try to get the perfect like statement for ambition. Just get your words down on paper. Steve, feedback on the matrix. I feel constrained might not be the right word. To me, that feels like someone who knows what they want. Yeah, maybe you're right. It's a confidence gremlin thing. It's like caged ambition, maybe. Maybe I'll amend that word. Thank you for the feedback, Steve. So maybe take this question away to have a bit of a reflect on, but I think it's quite private reflection, which is why I'm not really asking you to do it now. But it'll give you some ingredients towards an ambition statement. A practical thing that I've actually found quite helpful when I was trying to think, because I don't think I'm always super clear on my ambition, like in terms of like a statement that I could repeat every day. So I started with like looking at other people's achievements as inspiration for my ambition, which is not to say you're trying to copy other people, because that's probably not that helpful. It's just kind of thinking, well, who do I admire and why? Because potentially in the answers to those questions, you might find something. So, I feel like I can't do a presentation without adding Taylor Swift at the moment. She's made it in there. But these are just like four people that I kind of admire for what they're doing. The thing to say is why. Why do you admire them? That's the answer here. So what do I admire about Stephen Bartlett? I think it is amazing. I think that the pace of growth and the community that he has created, and how I think the quality. I was talking to someone yesterday who said they worked in an office with the team behind the Diary CEO podcast. And like it's a whole office. He was like, it's one person's job just to work on thumbnails. I was like, wow. I mean, that is a level of quality and attention that I admire. I'm like, wow, that is commitment to doing something well. And so I think that I was like, that I admire that kind of like a quality. Taylor Swift, I admire her integrity. I admire her ability to speak up and to sort of stand up for things she believes in. Dr. Amy Edmondson, who some of you may know, kind of the sort of pioneer really of psychological safety at work. I really admire how she's taken quite an academic concept and got it into companies like all over the world. Like that's what we want to do with Squiggly. And then this person here is a recent addition. I was chatting to him yesterday, Octavius Black, who is the founder of Mind Gym. And I admire their scale. Like they have done some good stuff with training in lots of companies that I admire. So you kind of get into sort of some words that you kind of are more ingredients for ambition. So sort of credibility, scale. I really admire, like I say, her confidence to speak up. I really admire both the scale and the quality. Like he has done both at the same time, I would argue. Like it gets better, it gets bigger, and it gets better, which is that growth is one of my values. And that is actually my definition of growth, making things bigger and better. So I would just have a go. I would just have a go at this. It can be quite insightful, particularly if you think, oh, I haven't got like a nice little neat statement for my ambition. Don't worry about it. Just kind of collect some words, collect them from the first exercise, collect them from this one. You'll start to see some patterns in what actually matters to you and what you want to do. Isn't that just having lots of money to throw at something? Stephen Bartlett, Lindsay? I don't know. I think it takes risks. I think it takes quite a lot of risks. It's risky to invest in that level of a team. I admire it. He's bold. I think that's probably what it is. He's bold about growth. What else? The issue is Stephen. Okay, I've no issues with Stephen. No issues with Stephen. I admire what he's doing with his business. May I ask what the top right quadrant was on the matrix? As I missed it, active. Sorry, maybe that was my writing. Active. So this is active ambition. This is basically where your ambition is working for you. That's why I'm saying it's active, because you are clear and you are communicating it with confidence to other people. So the second thing that we talked about on the podcast was this idea of it's okay having kind of ambition, capital A ambition. So you've got potentially, if you do those last two exercises, you might kind of get to a sort of a statement. So kind of, I might be like, my ambition is to scale Squiggly is to confidently speak up to change the way that work is being done and make Squiggly a credible, scalable concept in companies. That kind of a thing. That's not quite exactly what my ambition is, but I can get very close to it from those words. So I want you to kind of get close to it from that exercise where you've done a bit of a dump, and from this one where you've got a bit of inspiration from other people's achievements. And then we're trying to take the capital A of ambition, big ambition. And what we're trying to do is do sort of small a in terms of action. So if that's the big ambition, then what is an everyday action that I could take? So for example, if I'm inspired by Stephen Bartlett's thumbnails, then maybe I just improve one of our thumbnails. Maybe I don't have to have the world's best podcast tomorrow. I can just take one bit. If quality is one of the things that matters to me, or credibility is one of the things that matter to me, maybe I could ask for an endorsement from somebody. Like small actions accumulate. If it's always just the big ambition, then it doesn't always translate to stuff that we do every day. So whatever your kind of ambition statement is, think about what's one thing I can do today, or what's one thing I can do this week, just one thing. But if every day or every week you are doing one thing towards your ambition, then over time the actions will accumulate and you'll get much closer to the reality of what you want from your work. Oh, look, Kerry advocating for ambition. Go, Kerry. I've seen a big impact and support from the business since I've been clearer and more open discussing my ambition. Wish I'd done it sooner and pushed the imposter syndrome back. Brilliant. So maybe, Kerry, in the beginning, you were in that, whatever we're going to call that constrained box, like where our ambitions maybe been a bit caged. Sorry, the lights have gone off on this room. It's going to be really annoying today. I would stand up and wave, but we'll just go with everyone. So maybe you were like in the caged ambition box, and maybe you now, because you've talked about it, you're more in the active ambition box. Brilliant example. Thank you. Okay, last but not least, before I want to talk to you about something really exciting that's coming up and ask for your help. So please don't go, because I need your help with something. Last thing on ambition, before I ask for your help, is about how you communicate it. So we've kind of got into the clarity point, because you've got your statement and we've got a bit of action going on. All good. But I also want you to talk about it with confidence and clarity, because that also gets us into that top right quadrant. There's a difference here between self-talk, so what you say to yourself, about your ambition, and sort of support talk. So what you say to other people who you want to support you with your ambition. It sounds slightly different. It's not that the support one is softer, but it is designed to intrigue, to enable somebody to kind of help you. So the tone is slightly different. So the self-talk, the sort of statements that you really want when you are thinking about your ambition, when you're like, what am I getting up to do today? Like, what will I achieve this year? The words that are helpful for your own mindset are the I will or the I want. These are very directive statements. So I will scale Squiggly Careers into being a global concept for careers that changes the way people think about development. Like, that statement for me to say to myself is powerful. It's sticky, it's powerful, it's clear. If I say that directly to other people, it doesn't necessarily invite them to contribute to it, because I'm like, I will, and they're like, all right, good for you. Like, you go do it. All good. You seem very clear. You clearly don't need me. And obviously we do need people. Like, we definitely need people to help us with ambitions. So when you are talking about your ambition with other people, you might just want to change the tone slightly. So it's more like one of the things that matters to me is scaling Squiggly Careers. Would love to get your thoughts. One of the things I want to achieve in the next 12 months, doubling the amount of listeners on our podcast. Love to talk to you about how to make that happen. Like, it's just the tone is different. So I still want you to talk about it with confidence and clarity, but the statements that we say to ourselves are very affirmative. Like, this is happening. This is happening, or you're going to make it happen. The statements we say to other people are more inviting because we want them to input. We need their help. We're probably not going to be able to do all this on our own. We do need other people to input. So it's worth maybe just sort of writing what your statements would sound like for yourself. That very confident, affirmative one that maybe you wake up in the morning and say it to yourself. You start your week with that in mind. And then a couple of like the ways that you say it with other people. I actually think writing it down and saying it out loud to yourself first, as cringy as that might be, it will just help you to be more confident in the conversation. Like, if the first time you said this out loud is in the conversation, it might feel a little bit awkward. But if you can just say, one of the things that really matters to me over the next 12 months is doubling the amount of listeners on the Squiggly Careers podcast. Like, if you can say it like that, then it's more like you can say it in the room.